Hi, I'm Chad Richard. I'm with St. Mary's Cement. Today we're going to do some testing with Grout, specifically ASTM C143, which is the standard test method for slump of hydraulic cement concrete, and ASTM C1019, which is the standard test method for sampling and testing of grout. So we start off by getting our grout sample. Must be a half a cubic foot minimum sample, which we have here in the wheelbarrow. First thing is to remix our sample. All of our equipment must be in a dampened state, not wet, not dripping, but damp. Remix our sample. Make sure all of our equipment is damp. Now for the slump test, we are going to fill this up in 3 equal layers by volume. Since this is a cone and not a cylinder, it will be not quite by height. The first third is 2 5/8 inches up from the bottom of the cone. The second third is at 6 1/8 inches. And then the top layer will be till it's over the top, so we can strike it off. Okay? So we'll start off with filling it the first third. These are the ears of the slump cone. We must hold it down at all times. If it does come up while we're testing, we need to start over and retest. So we're going to fill it the first third, rotating the scoop as we fill. Use a 5/8 inch rod. We're going to rod 25 times. The first 15 rods are going to be with the inclination of the cone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. The remaining 10 will be straight up and down. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25. We want to go all the way through the depth of the layer without forcibly striking the bottom of the plate. Fill it up the second third. So we're at 6 1/8 mark. This time, 25 times, all straight up and down. Penetrating the previous lift, approximately 1 inch. So I'll put my rod below the mark, my hand on the top, and 25 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25. Fill it up the final third until it is over the top. Again, we want to penetrate this lift 1 inch below the previous lift. Put it below, put my hand there, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Okay, we need to strike off The excess off the top, we're going to do this with a rolling and screeding motion. Wipe off the rim of the cone. Hand over, foot off, holding the cone down solid. Clean off the base plate. Now we need to lift the cone in 5 plus or minus 2 seconds with no torsional or lateral movement. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004. And it's out. You need to invert the slump cone, place it on the base. Place the rod across. And we measure from the bottom of the rod to the original displaced center of the cone. And we are at 8.75 inches. Spec for grout is between 8 and 10 inches, so this is good. Okay? And that is ASTM C143. A couple other time frames to keep in mind is from the initial sample gathering until you start the test is 5 minutes, and from the start of the test to finish the test has to be done uninterrupted, and it must be completed within 2.5 minutes. Okay? Okay, we can move on to the 1019 portion of this demonstration, and that is actually making a grout specimen or a grout prism. And a couple things to keep in mind with this is we must use the materials from the job site or relatively similar materials. The block from the job site, every block has different absorption characteristics and will wick the water out of the grout at a different rate, so it's important that we're using the same block that's going to be used on the job. Okay? Set it away a little bit. We set this up using the block. Paper towel we have on the block here. This is just a bond break. Okay? This is what we want to make sure that the grout does not adhere to the block itself. So when we pull these out in 24 to 48 hours, that we end up with a clean specimen and we don't have to chip it off the block. Okay? The sample size is minimum 3 inches. So this is a 3.5 by a 3.5 inch block of wood. It has been sealed. We don't want any moisture absorbing into the block. We place that down. And we set out our box around these. Get them all nice and tight together. So that's what our sample grout prism should look like. Okay? Now we're going to fill this in 2 lifts by volume, since it is straight, and it will be equal by height. All right. Got my scoop here, and our rod. Once again, making sure everything's damp but not wet. going to fill it halfway. Using a 5/8 inch rod, we'll rod it 15 times, all the way through the depth without forcibly striking the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. You want to evenly distribute the rod strokes across the cross section. Okay? Fill it so it's slightly overfilled. And rod this 15 times, all the way through the depth, approximately 1 inch into the previous layer, about halfway down the block. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Okay? Our strike off bar. We're going to strike this off flush with the top of the surface. And cover with a piece of plastic to avoid any evaporation. Now, as the water wicks out of this, the block wicks the water out of the grout, we will get a little bowl shaped in the top. Within 30 minutes from us finishing this specimen, we need to come in, add a little grout to the top of this. Within 30 minutes of time, we'll add slightly to the top to fill in that depression without rodding again, and just simply strike it off. Cover this with plastic, and within 24 to 48 hours, from 24 to 48 hours, leave it sit, pick it up, and transport to the laboratory. When we pick these up, after the mold's stripped apart, we have 30 minutes to make sure we are covering them with burlap or such to keep the moisture in, and they must be delivered to the laboratory within 8 hours.